See you sucker soon on a hot summer day. Coffee comes back in a nerve-wracking way. The dishes and laundry take the garbage out. What a day, what a day, what a day. Kids got their quizzes and I've got a...
Well, welcome to Schenectady today and around the capital region. We're so happy that you're joining us today. We have 6 segments filled with lots of great information. And, well, let me just tell you what's coming up on our show. We're going to be talking with a representative from NABA, which is the Northeastern Association for the Blind, Albany, talking about their upcoming low vision technology fair. We got lots of photos to show you in that segment as well. And then we're going to be talking about the Mad Woman of Shell. I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry. They're going to get after me when they come on the show. And we're going to be talking about that at the Schenectady Civic Players. And then we're going to be talking about another production called After the Darkness, written by Joe Starzyk, and that is being performed by the Black Theater Troupe of upstate New York. And then we're going to be talking about the YWCA, and this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we're going to be talking about that with the representatives from the Y. And then 85 years, oh my gosh, this is the Schenectady Symphony. They're going to be on the show talking about their upcoming concert celebrating Leonard Bernstein. So we'll be talking with them about that. And then it is my delight to have an author on the show. I love authors. And we're going to be talking about a book called The Blacksmith, and I'm really anxious to hear about that. And I do want to say that we are, first of all, our breaks today will be, again, we're going to the Red Maple Farm, which is a rescue farm for animals that are damaged, wild animals. And we are dedicating our show this week to Nina Rindinello, who was with us for 20 years. And I believe they'll pop her picture up there. There she is, Nina, there. So thank you, Nina, for your 20 years of service here. But we're going to start out the show right now with Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl, and who have you got with you?
Oh, you know, this is Clive. He's our ambassador dog for the Northeastern Association of the Blind at Albany. He was the 6th dog that I raised to be a guide dog, and after a few months in training, he goes, no,
I don't think I want to be a guide dog.
So now he's an ambassador.
I want to be a Cheryl dog.
Yes, he's with me all the time for work at NABA and also as a certified therapy dog. So he's a busy fella.
What makes a dog a guide dog? I mean, why would... I mean, because he's a wonderful dog.
He really is. They really look for a very confident dog. And that means it's a little different than human confidence, but they also have to be able to make decisions on their own. It's called intelligent defiance. So if their blind partner says, let's go forward, and there's a car coming, the dog has to be able to make that decision, and that is very stressful. So it takes a very confident dog to do that. Clive did very well. He has puppies, or had puppies in training, and he was in training for about 6 months, but after a while he decided he wasn't happy with the work, and they have to be happy. So he's very happy with his work now, as you can see. He's very content with his work.
And it says, I am a therapy dog, and which I would like to just address quickly. What is a therapy dog?
A therapy dog is a dog who's got great manners. They've gone through training. They're great with people, but they're certified by the Therapy Dogs International to provide comfort to folks maybe in hospitals and nursing homes, but also in disaster situations. So Clive will be entering that training here shortly. There's another level of training to respond to disasters such as hurricanes and earthquakes. So they're just good, feel-good dogs.
Well, and the reason I ask that, because we sometimes see a dog want to go into a restaurant, and we know that the guide dogs there's no problem there, because we see them at Proctor's, which is amazing. They get right under the seat and they're fine.
You don't even know they're there, just like my boy.
Yeah. But now a therapy dog can do the same thing, go anywhere?
No. A therapy dog is just a comfort dog. The difference between a service dog and a therapy dog, and by the way, I do programs for organizations about this, so if anybody's interested in learning more about the difference between a service dog and a therapy dog, I'd be happy to do that for them. But a service dog is a dog, as defined by federal regulations, as a dog that provides a medically necessary task for an individual. So if they're blind, maybe in a wheelchair,
that's a service dog.
That is a service dog, and they have access to anywhere a human goes, as long as they're behaving.
Yeah.
Of course.
So if a person is epileptic, but that dog can sense that.
Seizure dog.
Yeah.
A lot of veterans now have PTSD dogs. So service dogs, there's lots of different service dogs. The therapy dog is just a well-behaved.
A nice dog.
A nice dog. And Therapy Dogs International insures them as they go into a nursing home or hospital.
Okay.
So they do not have access to restaurants. And so he's not my Friday night date anymore. He was when he was in training, but not anymore.
Friday night date.
Yeah. So.
Okay, but we're talking here, of course, and we'll see some of the photos as we go through them, of the Low Vision Technology Fair. Let's tell our viewers about that.
Well, this is our 10th year, I cannot believe it, for our Low Vision Technology Fairs. And a few years ago, we actually had 2 locations. It originated in Albany, and now we have on October 15th in Albany at St. Sophia's.
And then, you've had it there for quite some time.
Yes, that one's for 10 years. And then Saratoga 3 years ago at the City Center. Yep. And the purpose of a low vision technology fair is to showcase all the technologies, the reading machines and video magnifiers.
Let's take a look at some of the photos because that might illustrate
that can help with reading and daily activities.
Of what they are.
Well, the Talking Book and Braille Library is a very important resource for people who are reading challenged. They're there and this is a free service.
And they have the Rise Radio too.
Rise radios through WMHT, but they'll be sitting right next to those folks, so they're doing the same kind of service. So yes, now here's really the guys and gals that'll be showcasing the technologies. CapTel is for hearing, but the other pictures are demonstrations of reading machines. Essentially on the bottom left you see Bob, it's a camera that actually looks down on the reading material and blows it up on a screen.
I've seen
there's
that.
Lots of, for people who have low vision, and also sometimes they will read the screen, what's on the screen for them. So lots of those kinds of technologies help with reading and daily activities. Clive won't be there, although he's pictured there. It's a busy day for me running around, so he'll be having the day off. But so more pictures of those reading machines in the upper left. You see how big the text can be for those things. Software that actually reads like websites will be showcased as well as hand devices,
and you
magnifiers.
Have presenters too.
Yes, we'll have, this year we're focusing on diabetes awareness, which is the leading cause of vision loss in America today. So we'll have a certified diabetic educator at both locations speaking at 10 o'clock. And at 1 o'clock, we'll have a local eye doctor speaking about the latest in research in treatments and primarily retinal diseases, which affects diabetes, a lot of aging issues. There on the right is another picture of a reading machine showing off my name and email address for the technology. Many on the left, you'll see there's a person with a service dog. Many people who are blind will come to look at, these companies will represent blindness products as well, like Braille readers and special technologies. We'll have related health. This year we say technology and health because we're focusing on diabetes, but we'll have other organizations that are related. CDTA has their paratransit STAR program. The VA has a great low vision program for veterans as well. And there I am. Last year I had an opportunity to do a presentation, which I do in the community all the time, about aging vision. So. Oh, those are great pictures. I couldn't have planned those better myself.
Well, that's all right. You sent them to me, and I just put them up there that way. I like to put them in little groups so they're easier to kind of keep people focused on the different things that are coming up. So again, those technology fairs are on the 15th and 16th of October. 15th is at St. Sophia's.
Yes, correct. It starts at 9:30. Ends at 3:30, although I'm sure that the exhibitors will hang out longer if somebody's interested in looking at the reading machines, magnifiers. I want to mention that NABA staff will be there as well to talk about independent living with vision loss. And we'll also have some resources for hearing loss. And the Lions Clubs,
kind of like,
we're really focusing on health. Our primary audience is older adults, so we'll be addressing some of their needs.
Well, thank you.
Clive's getting ready to take a nap.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's just about time for us to go. He's snuggling.
That's okay.
In.
He's just all settled.
He can stay with you for the whole show.
I don't care.
I know
That'd be fine with me. You know me and them dogs.
I love
dogs. So visit Cheryl at one of these technology fairs. Remember, it's the 15th and 16th of October. Check out their website. You can learn all about it. Cheryl, it's always a pleasure to have you on
Thank
the show.
you.
And
Same
thanks for
here.
the dog.
Congratulations
Yeah,
on all
20
these years.
Oh
I
my
know.
gosh,
Goodness gracious.
We're going to take another quick break, and we're going to be talking with the Schenectady Civic Players about their new upcoming productions. Stay tuned.
And is where we keep all of our red-tailed hawks, and you can see some of them up on that.
Can I go in?
I wouldn't go all the way in.
Okay.
And
Will they attack?
no, they won't attack you, but they
Okay.
may accidentally hit you if they're flying.
Okay.
And you can see that we have 5 educational red tails here.
Wow.
You can see it can't fly up to the perch, but they have hawk ladders and stuff like that, so they can get up where they're safe.
Boy, we see these occasionally over the Leishakill in this Guyuna.
Sure.
And that screech sound they make.
Red-tailed hawks have made an amazing comeback from DDT. That
Oh.
we used as pesticides. Here we've got some great horned owls.
Oh my goodness. There they are.
These great horned owls are both permanently disabled.
Permanently disabled, okay.
A lot of the birds of prey that we have are...
And here we are back again in Chaillot. I got it right. Mad Woman of Chaillot. Is this a French play? Obviously.
It was
Chris
written in
Howard is
Paris.
our director.
Well, if it's not being produced in French, don't worry. We're
Okay.
doing it in English.
Okay.
And there's a little question about maybe singing one of the songs in French. We said, man, better not. So it was written in Paris between the years 1941 and 1943 by Jean Giraudoux.
Okay, and you got that really nice. I love that. Do you have a little French background in you?
Oh, I wish.
Yeah, you wish. And we have Lucy Breyer and we have Fred Ciro.
Sirois.
Sirois.
Americanized, it's Sirois.
I think I better go brush my teeth or something. I'm doing something wrong here.
It's okay.
I should have taken my French lesson today. So tell me about the play. And since it was written in right around the wartime, you know, just tell me a little bit.
Yeah,
about
it was written during the World War II. And the playwright, Giraudoux, was a French essayist. He was a diplomat and a playwright, and he wrote 5, 6 plays, and this is probably the best known.
Oh, yeah, I know, absolutely.
So it was made into a film with Katharine Hepburn in 1969, and into a major Broadway musical starring Angela Lansbury in the same year. That musical, though, is called Dear World, and basically we have a wonderful group of cafe people who are eccentric. They're frankly eccentric. Fred plays the rag picker. Lucy plays the title role of the Mad Woman, also known as Countess Aurelia. And into the cafe come...
She doesn't look like a mad woman.
she's quite
She's
mad.
not really mad.
She's
She's
right.
eccentric.
As opposed to the men who come in to the cafe in Act 1 who are truly mad because they are going to drill for oil in Paris. Will they succeed? Better come and find out. Will Paris be covered with oil derricks? Let's find out in Act 2.
In Act 2. Okay, Lucy, I know you've been on the show before. You've been acting for quite some time, actually. It's in your blood, I can tell. And so how do you like the part?
Oh, it's a wonderful part. It's one of those bucket roles. The character, I mean, she's wacky, but you have to love her, and I get to save the world. I mean, that's my challenge in this play. So that's my challenge.
Oh my God!
But I mean, who couldn't love that role?
I know.
And it's a very wordy play, which Chris has cut
French
cut
seem to
quite
do
a lot.
that. Very wordy.
But still, they're just these wonderful long speeches. But the particular role, she's I don't know. I want to be her. I mean, in some ways, she's
Your
a very
alter ego? Is that what
she's
you're
a
trying
very
to say?
stereotypical kind of cat lady, right? She's this old lady who sort of owns the neighborhood and wants to boss everybody's lives.
So how does Fred come into this?
Well, he's my male alter ego, I think.
Yeah, I'm more the watchman of the neighborhood, whereas the Mad Woman has kind of eccentric. The rag picker has been kind of watching for the last 20 or so years.
Oh, he's a watcher.
Yeah, he kind of keeps track of everyone.
Every neighborhood needs that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So he has been keeping tabs on what's been going on and has been watching the fall, I guess, of civilization happen in the neighborhood.
Okay,
And
so
actually,
is the war addressed at all throughout this?
not really, no.
Not really.
Okay.
No,
Just
not
as
at
an
all.
allegory.
Yeah, it's an allegory. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
the-
Because it's not taking place in that time period.
It
Well,
is
the
actually.
beauty of it is it can be similar. There's so much poetic license, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, it is in the sense that the original setting was contemporary, but we're actually doing it as contemporary today. But the villains are, greedy capitalists. I mean, it's very explicit about who the enemy is here, and it's not a nationalist enemy at all. It's a class enemy.
Yeah.
That said,
And we all can relate to that.
oh yes, oh yes. I mean,
So things haven't changed too much since
the
40.
villains are I'm sad to say the 1% and those who assist them, and so it's very, very topical in that
Well,
sense.
we have some photos. I'd like to bring up the photos so that we can at least address them. Maybe you can tell us what's going on here.
Well, one of the beauties of this play is we were able to work in a concertina player, and in the original script it's a street singer, but there's just nothing like Paris with a concertina player.
Right, right.
And there always has been a juggler in the script. And we added 3 children. The taller child there, Macy, plays the deaf child, and originally it was deaf-mute. So that's a little part of the director discretion that I've exercised. And they're just adorable, and we keep their parents with them on stage and off stage.
Oh, wonderful.
Because they really are
Okay, and I think there's another
active.
photo. Yeah, there's another photo. There we go. We have 2 of them together there. And that's your little cafe there.
Yeah, Lucy, would you like to talk about the picture to the right?
The right.
Yes, the Act 1 takes place in a street cafe, and which you see on the left there. Act 2 takes place in the Countess Aurelia's cellar, and here in the picture you see, she is entertaining the sewer man who knows some of the secrets of what goes on under the Paris
underbelly,
service. And so they have a wonderful scene where he tells her some
And
secrets about
this looks like this must be the
back
first
in the
act,
cafe.
right?
Oh, Fred, your turn.
My turn. This is my first interaction with the bad guys of the play. Being a rag picker, I keep my eye on the ground to see what I can find. And under the feet of these 2 gentlemen, one is the president, one is the prospector, I find a large bill, a €100 bill, and I ask, "Oh, did you drop this?" And he says, "I don't drop anything." And when I say, "Oh, then this isn't yours," it just grabs it out of my hand. So that kind of adds to my dislike, shall we say.
I guess so.
To my,
And the other character there that we see was Irma, the waitress, who's the love interest in the play.
yes.
Well, we have to have a love interest as well.
Of course.
So is this play appropriate for all ages? Because I always ask that question.
I'll say this is a play for the ages, for all ages.
Okay.
And it's 2 hours, so you have to use some discretion whether
exactly.
your child can do that. But if you possibly can, bring the family, because between the music and the juggling and having children in
There's
there,
a lot
and because
going
of
on.
the good simple message, you see the backdrop is l'amour.
Yeah, love.
Love conquers all.
yeah.
We need to hear that this day and age.
Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely.
Okay, well, listen, we want to remind everybody when it is and where it is. It's at the Schenectady Civic Players, and it's the 12th through the 21st. Right. You can get tickets, and I'm going to be there. I gotta see it. You know?
Thank you. Bring your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring your friends.
Family,
why not?
Pets,
but thank you for coming on the show, and I guess I have to say, break a leg.
Merci.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Actually, in France, you say merde, which is even ruder.
The Mad Woman of Chaillot.
Right.
Chaillot.
Chaillot. Let's say it together. Chaillot. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking about After the Darkness, another production coming up. Stay tuned.
Thanks.
Put them back together again if they've been hit at any speed at all. This is a barn owl, and we were pretty excited when we found this bird in a silo over in Cobuskill, Richmondville. We didn't think that there were any of these owls left in central New York, but we found him in a silo. He was unable to get out of the silo. He only had one eye. Probably lost the other eye in the nest, and that's why he probably couldn't fly up and out of the silo door at the top of the silo. We don't release one-eyed birds to the wild. 70% of all baby raptors die in the first year of life. With one eye, he would almost certainly have starved to death in the wild. So these are turkey vultures. Turkey vultures have a horrible reputation as being ugly and being nasty, but they have a very useful, vital purpose as Mother Nature's vacuum cleaners.
Okay. He's pacing.
No, he's nervous because
Yeah.
we have the door open.
Okay.
That's that farm that rescues animals in the wild, and gets them back together again. But we're not rescuing anything here, are we? I don't think so. No.
Rescuing someone in terms of their well-being, their soul.
I looked at the plot of your play. It looks quite good. Yeah. And Joe Starzyk is the playwright.
Right.
And Jean Remy.
Got it. Yeah.
Got it right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is the founder, actually, of the Black Theater Troupe of Upstate New York.
New York.
Right. Got it all in.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about a play that's coming up. It's going to be in Albany. And so tell us a little bit about it, Joe, and then we'll talk to Jean here.
Well, actually, he prefers if you just call him Chaillot, but
we're going to get that Chaillot in here.
it's a little different than a lot of my plays because this one is just a completely serious play, and it revolves around the notion of a reporter interviewing someone who is in prison facing execution for having murdered a child. And she really thinks that the focus of her article is going to be about this man. But in getting background, she begins interviewing the mother of the child. And through time, after learning about both people, she really finds the mother to be the more fascinating character. And the mother's whole theme is trying to find a way to forgive this man so that she can move on with her life. And so really what you see throughout the play is the notion of forgiveness, both with her ex-husband, because their marriage dissolves after this.
Is the ex-husband the murderer?
No.
Okay.
No. The ex-husband is just, the ex-husband, but their relationship dissolved after the event happened.
As quite often it does.
Right. And she feels the only way to, move forward with her life is to be able to find a way to forgive people. And it's about that notion and about the fact that it's a process. It's not just, okay, I forgive you, and then everything's all right.
And it is quite often, and I love your work actually, quite often you see people going down one path and then a little turn takes into another path, which, how did you get involved with Joe here?
Joe.
How did you meet?
I met Joe at a reading in Sand Lake, 7 years ago, something like that?
At least.
About 7 years ago.
Okay, Sand Lake Center for the Arts?
Yeah, so they were having
Circle Theater Players,
Circle Theater Players
right.
monthly play reading. They were having private reading, and then I met him, I read, and then he saw me, and then he couldn't leave me alone since then. He's been calling me.
Oh my goodness.
So, but I love him. I love his work.
Okay.
I love his work. He's a local playwright, and usually we do different things. We normally do plays written by people of color, and black playwright, and serious thing, educational thing. And Joe is a great playwright. He writes a lot of comedy and different things. And
does everything,
I've done a couple of his plays,
Yeah.
and I took those characters and mixed them to, very diverse. Mixed
Yeah,
them black and white.
I think like Patrick White, we've talked
Yeah.
about Patrick doing diverse with
Right.
his plays and just taking a play, and it's not really, you don't have black and white. I mean, sometimes
certain plays you do have to cast it, but if the script that the character doesn't see, you have to
not
be right.
always.
Right. Yeah.
And
So I've done some of his plays, and then I read that one After the Darkness, and I said, this is great. It's serious. I like serious, dramatic stuff. So I said, Joe, I want to do that play, and then he was with it, and then I asked him to direct it, and he's doing a great job.
Now
The
you're
actors
doing
really-
this with the Black Theater
Yes.
Troupe of Upstate New York.
Yeah.
And first of all, where is it going to be, and what dates are
It's going to be at the First Congregational Church in Albany at 405 Quayle Street.
Okay.
And then we open November 8th, 9th, and November 8th for 2 weekends, and the following weekend after
And the
that.
following weekend.
Yeah.
And is this a benefit for the organization?
Well, it's not a fundraiser, just like
Just a
regular
regular
part of our
play.
season.
Okay. I didn't know whether
regular season.
a regular season. That's
Yes.
good, and I'm glad you're doing that.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, no, we have, and I believe in supporting our, local playwright. We go far away to get work, by other playwrights far away, and we have them
We
right
have them
here,
right
very
here.
talented. And he's a good friend. He's been supporting us, and I said, and I need to work with him.
Well, talk about support. We have to give a shout out to the Schenectady Civic Players.
Yes.
Because they are
Yes,
really
they've
want
been-
to support you as well.
They've been very good. We've been working together, and we've done 2 short plays with them in July.
Those were amazing plays.
And then we're hoping to work with
Harriet
them again.
Tubman, oh
Yes.
my gosh, that was so
And the
great.
Medal of Honor, and we're hoping to work with them again.
The Medal of Honor was amazing.
Was amazing, yeah. I love that
Yeah.
piece. Yeah, and we'll be working with Schenectady Civic again, and they're great people. And
That's what Joe Fava said. He
Yeah.
said you'd be working together again.
He's
So
a good
I'm
guy,
sure,
yeah.
he's a good
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
For them to get tickets, how do they get tickets to this?
For ticket, you don't have to make reservation.
You can just
call
show up.
and show up and pay at the door.
Okay.
You can call if you want to get information.
Okay.
There is a number on the website and Facebook, and then but you can show up and get
But
tickets.
since we're going to fill the house, you're better off calling.
Get your ticket, get those tickets
Better
ahead.
tickets in advance.
Exactly.
How are you gathering your troupe?
We are a local community.
Because people might be watching that would
Right.
be interested.
We
in
are a community theater. It may be called troupe, but we don't use the same actors for everything. We have regular audition.
Yeah.
We work with new actors. Because part of our mission is to bring in more minorities on the local stage, and you don't have to have experience. We work with you. We give you the experience, not for us, but for the community theaters.
Okay.
So other theaters can do more. I train you, I work with you, and we put a lot of actors out there in all the local theaters already for the 10 years. We're going to be 10 years next year.
And that's something.
Yeah, so we were Soul Rebel Performance Troupe. We
I remember
just
that,
recently
when
changed
you
the
were
name.
the Soul Rebel, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Black
this
Theater
is
Troupe.
good. And you got another play in your mind?
Well, actually, I wanted to say that the beauty of working with Remy's group is that it gives other directors a chance, I think, to look at things and realize that many parts in almost any play are really blind casting.
Right.
You don't have to have
That's
a
right.
specific person, a
Yeah.
specific type. And
We have to change that mindset.
Right.
right, and I think that one of the ways that happens is when you see it on stage. I mean, and there's more and more of that beginning to go on in the Capital
Yeah.
Region, and
Yeah.
that's nice. And I think that it just expands the base for everyone, and it expands the talent pool, and then it also allows, groups like Remy's to be able to thrive more, and I think
Right.
that's really what we need right now.
Absolutely. And when I saw the 2 plays that you just did with the Harriet Tubman and the Medal of Honor, I've got to say this, the acting was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, the Harriet Tubman, I mean, both of them were amazing. So it just shows the caliber of talent that's out there that we really need to give a platform to.
Well, that's what I do. I'm out every day talking to people, you know, and all you have to say, if you're interested, I'm interested, I'd love to do it. I'll work with you.
And you will.
Yeah.
I know you will. Thank you both for being here. It's
No,
always
thank
a
you.
pleasure. And
Thank you,
actually,
Ann.
our next one, even though it's the YWCA, we're going to be talking about the vagina monologues that they're going to be doing. So it just keeps going, doesn't
Yeah,
it? We
yeah.
can't stop them. Can't stop the acting. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking with the YWCA of Northeastern New York, and we're going to be talking about Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So stay tuned.
Okay, these are barred owls, and they're also another very common medium-sized owl in this area around here.
I have to admit to you, I don't see owls much.
If owls are doing what they're supposed to be doing, you'll never see them.
Yeah.
They're so well camouflaged. If they're doing what they should be doing, you'll never see owls.
Well, you hear them and you don't see them.
Yep, and that's good.
What a beautiful face. Beautiful eyes, markings. All right.
In here we have two different types of gulls. A lot of people call them seagulls, but there is actually no such thing as a seagull. There's over 25 different types of gulls, and these are two that you would find around here, Port of Albany, or along the Mohawk. We have a herring gull and a ring-billed gull, and both of these gulls were also hit by cars.
Okay, here we are back again, and we're talking with the YWCA of the Northeastern New York, and we're talking about the this whole month. We're talking about domestic violence awareness. It seems as though we should be getting this message out, and people should understand what it's all about and not be afraid to speak up. So let's talk about that first, and then we'll talk about some of the events that are coming up as well.
Well, the YW has been providing domestic violence services in Schenectady and all of the surrounding counties for over 40 years. And we're actually celebrating our 130th year here in Schenectady. So you're right, we should probably be past this. And it seems to keep cropping up, and we seem to continue to talk about this. And the numbers, unfortunately, seem to be getting larger, because the big number was 1 in 4 women. Now we're down to 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men are assaulted on some level, experience a domestic incident in their life.
Oh my God.
So it's quite scary, and we work with over 6,000 victims here in Schenectady every year.
Does domestic violence mean only in the home?
No, I mean, it's intimate partner violence, so
that's what I mean.
it could happen, you could see it on the street.
Yeah, we need to talk about
you could see it on the street, it could happen at work, it could be something that's happening, you know, at boyfriend, girlfriend, teenagers, so you want to be aware of. And as bystanders and people who are maybe on the street, in the school, at a home, talking with a parent, and somebody discloses that there's domestic violence going on in their home, you want to be able to know where to send those people. You want to make sure that people know the YWCA in Schenectady
there's
availability of services. There's counseling, there's advocacy, we have a shelter, we have a hotline number.
Right,
So.
and Lauren is in charge of that as well.
I am. It's a big task.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you get, I mean, is this like a 24-hour line or what?
It is. We have someone at the front desk of our YWCA located at 44 Washington Ave, 24 hours a day. So we often will have women that come up in the middle of the night up those stairs asking for help. We have police that are dropping women off there after a domestic incident that may need shelter. And because we've been there for so long doing these services, women know that those front stairs mean safety. So, and then we also have a 24-hour hotline, as Kim mentioned, and our shelter is a 24-hour operation as well.
And you have sheltered that no one knows where they are.
Correct.
I mean,
it's a confidential location.
Women need to know that if they do approach you, that they will be sheltered.
Sure. Sure.
And not, you know, they won't know. And it's funny because something came up recently. I was at the League of Women Voters, and one of the things is you have to have the person's address. But there is a situation with the League of Women, with the voting system, that the address does not have to appear if the person has been in domestic violence.
Yeah, a lot of...
I was not aware of that, but it just shows how far-reaching this is.
Yeah, yeah. We let the clients are allowed to use our address if they want to remain confidential. But there's also the address confidentiality program where they can send it to a PO box in Albany, and then they in turn send the mail out to the individual's address.
Yeah.
To keep.
I mean, it's really when you guys protect. I don't do that, but when you protect. You really do protect.
Yeah. And I have to say, and you do it because we come on your show and talk about it. And so everybody in the community is responsible and plays a part in supporting victims of domestic violence, whether they're men, women, or children.
And men are subject to violence as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because some women are a little bit of...
Yeah, and even though we are the YWCA, we certainly serve anybody that identifies as a victim.
Oh, okay.
So men are able to come into our shelter. They're able to get our advocacy services, our counseling services.
Right. Now, you've got a number of events coming up, and I mentioned the vagina monologues because...
We do.
Because it's fun to say. Because it's got a little shock value.
Okay, shock. Wait a second. No, I mean, this is a play that's been around for ages. I mean, it's not anything shocking. I mean,
Eve Ensler wrote it back in the 90s. It's a book that got turned into a play.
Yeah.
And then if different agencies and community organizations want to put the play on as a fundraiser, you buy the rights. And then we got a lot of local women who are stepping in as some pretty amazing actors. And it's being hosted by Sabrina Dami from Channel 13. And we've got Madeline Thorne. We've got,
we've got local stand-up comedian and musician Aaron Harks. We have the executive directors Madeline Thorne from Habitat for Humanity, LaDon Alomar from Centro Civico, a couple fierce advocates for women from Planned Parenthood, Hem and Teresa. So some really phenomenal women, and you know, it's a pretty interesting time to be a woman right now. And so we thought, as a fundraiser, what better way to draw attention to domestic violence and, you know, the issues that are
Proctor's
here, October 22nd.
October
22nd.
The reason I know it's Monday night because you asked me.
I know. We hope you can do it next.
I don't do anything on Monday because I'm working on the show.
Lisa Perazzo is going to be in it as well with us. So we've got quite a bunch of women, a number of YW staff, as well as some board members who are going to be participating. So we hope people buy tickets. That's only one of our events coming up this month.
So what else do you have coming up?
So we're trying to do some educational stuff for the community too. So the Week Without Violence, which is October 15th through the 19th, we have a presentation out of the YWCA that's free to the community on elder abuse. We also have a presentation from some of our religious leaders in the community are coming to do a panel discussion on religion and domestic violence. We also on October 25th have something called In Her Shoes and In Their Shoes, which is a kind of a domestic violence workshop where you place yourself in the shoes of a victim and kind of walk through what you would do, the decisions that you would make, and how that affects you.
And we do know that people that are women, especially, I say women because they're the ones that have to be dependent sometimes on a man's income because they've got the children they're taking care of. They maybe got a pet. I mean, and I mentioned pets because that's pretty important. And sometimes they don't know what to do or where to turn because of the dependency that they have. This is something that really has to be addressed, that they know that there is a path that they can take.
So we work with the Humane Society on Mohawk Ave, and they will take pets and board them for us until the victim can find a better place for their pet to go. And as victims come into shelter, of course, they can bring their children with them. So we kind of say, you know, we'll work with all the barriers you may have to leaving a perpetrator and try to make sure that you can get into safety. So
you give them an avenue to follow.
Absolutely.
Because that's pretty important because, and I've known someone who was in that situation and it was like, I can't leave. I mean, this is, I know he beats me, but I can't leave because I don't have any money. I don't have a place to go.
And the Allstate Purple Purse Challenge is kind of taking place this entire month. And Allstate runs a national program where we really look at the financial stressors that victims face in trying to make a decision whether to stay or go. And you mentioned a couple of them: childcare, transportation, having a job, not having a job, where to live if you have only one income now. All of those things play a role on whether someone stays or goes. So the Purple Purse Challenge is a month-long social media campaign where we have a page through CrowdRise where you you can go on and support the YWCA in making sure that victims know that even financial stressors can be overcome.
Yeah, yeah. So, but what you do is wonderful. I mean, it really is. I mean, as a kid, I used to you could swim or you could do this. But you've taken on a whole new pathway, and you've talked 100 and some odd years. I mean, that's incredible what you're doing, but you have moved with the times.
Yeah, the community really dictates what they need from us, and unfortunately, Schenectady County needs domestic violence services.
Yeah, so, and you're doing it. So we want to thank you both for being here and having a successful month of getting awareness out there and getting support from the community. And I know it's going to happen. So you already got it with your production coming up at Proctor. Can I say the name?
You again? Let's say it together.
Yeah,
Vagina Monologues.
There we go. Shiloh. We got it. We're going to get that one in too. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go with the Schenectady Symphony. And I don't know. I can't do anything to them. I don't think so. Stay tuned.
Call
the police first?
Well, the Department of Environmental Conservation, local law enforcement, or depending upon what kind of animal it is, a New York State DEC licensed wildlife rehabilitator like myself.
Okay.
This is a Cooper's hawk. This is the hawk that you see a lot around bird feeders. They got to eat too.
Okay.
This particular bird, once again, was hit by a car.
Good shot. What's this bird called again?
Is Cooper's hawk.
A Cooper's hawk.
This is one of the stinkiest babies that we have on the whole farm, and I'm not talking about skunks. This actually came in as a baby river otter. It's not.
And here we are back again, and oh my goodness, I'm so just pleased to have this group on. These two people on with me. I guess you're a group. We're a group.
We're a group.
Right?
Of course. Counts.
Chuck Schneider, who is recently retiring. Oh, I can't believe he's retiring from the 85th season. But you haven't been through with them the entire 85 seasons, so we know that.
No, it just feels that way.
And Robert Bohr, he's been on the show before, and he's the president of the Schenectady Symphony Orchestra. Oh my God, what wonderful music you make, and you make it all together, right?
Thank you. Yes.
Tell me about your 85th season.
So we are celebrating the 85th season. So the orchestra has been here in Schenectady since 1930.
Wait a minute, let's get the pencil.
1933, right? Actually, we're also celebrating Chuck's 35th season.
I know.
So pretty amazing to think that we've been here 85 years and he's been our artistic leader and musical director for 35 of those years. It's a very, very long time, and very pleased that he's been with us that long.
And you know, the orchestra loves him.
They do.
Well, it's a love affair both ways.
Really?
I can tell you that for
I
sure.
sat there watching.
I love my players so much I can't even begin to tell you.
Well, when I sat there watching you, I thought there is a chemistry here that you may not find everywhere, but it's certainly in that room.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and you know, Anne had the opportunity to play with us a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah.
So she got
a musical
I love it.
That was so funny, and
Yeah,
I was just telling Chuck that I was talking to somebody who's a musician, and I said, "Oh, I played a musical instrument. I played the nightingale." And he said, "What the heck is a nightingale?" And then I said, well, I tried to explain it to him. I was with Leopold Mozart's the Toy
Symphony.
Yeah. Oh man, boom, back in the back of my head. And so what's funny is about 3 weeks later, I get we got to get the mic checked on him. Yeah, 3 weeks later, I get the musical instrument in the mail, or not in the mail, he brings it to me for Christmas. And it's a beautiful one, not the one you gave me. The one you gave me was terrible.
Oh, no.
But I do have a good one now. So I put it out on loan if you need it.
Excellent.
Good.
So anyway, this is obviously the 100th year anniversary of Leonard Bernstein's birth, and so most orchestras are doing some kind of tribute to Bernstein. We are as well. The difference is that we actually have somebody who actually knew Leonard Bernstein and worked with him in New York City. And so we're going to be able to bring you some insight that you probably wouldn't get from just any other place. And so Chuck has personally selected the program. These are all pieces that he's been well associated with. I think the one piece you said, it's the piece you've conducted more than any other in your entire career.
Would that be the West Side Story?
That would be
the
West Side Story. Yeah.
Symphonic dances, yes.
Yes.
The West Side Story. Can you believe that? Wow.
Yeah. So.
The other piece, I was going to say, the other piece that's kind of interesting is we really talk about being a local orchestra. We really pride ourselves on that, and so we've got some local connections as well. Evan Mack, who is a musician and composer at Skidmore College in Saratoga, has written a tribute piece called "If Only Lenny Were Here."
And you're incorporating that into this too.
Evan will be with us. This, I believe, will be the orchestral premiere.
It will be, Bob, yes.
It'll be the first time it's ever played in the world. So we'll be doing that. Evan will be with us.
Premiere.
Yes, to talk. And also Sylvia Stoner Hawkins, who is also at Skidmore, will be singing with us as well. And then finally, we have dancers from the Orlando School of Dance. You probably all know them from the Melodies of Christmas and some of the other things that they do. And Debbie Pigliavento was on Broadway for many, many years and has done some special choreography, and she's bringing a group of dancers that will dance along with parts of the West Side Story Symphonic Dance. It's an event.
It's not just a
big event.
It's a big event.
It certainly is.
And you're incorporating a lot of our local talent as well.
Absolutely.
But what a wonderful celebration for Leonard Bernstein.
Well, it certainly is, Ann. It was 1965 when I was asked to do a national tour of West Side Story, and I had been on Bernstein's radar for a while, and so I did a 6-month tour, and then we had a second tour of 6 months, and then Maestro hired me to do the all summer long celebration of his 50th birthday. So
oh my gosh.
It was wonderful.
They did that in Tanglewood. Didn't they do some of that in Tanglewood?
Well, they may have. I don't know
for
sure about that.
Yeah. I remember that there was something big there.
But it was really funny when you look back on it. Christopher Walken was my riff. I still think it was the best cast of West Side Story that ever went out. And every one of the gang members were like all stars. They were just.
I mean, it's wonderful what paths that our lives take. And
that's right.
How did you meet Leonard Bernstein?
Well, I did Trouble in Tahiti. I think was the first time, and when Helen Coates was hired by the maestro to bring her to New York. She was his first piano teacher in Boston.
Wow.
And so he hired her to run his office right there in Lincoln Center. And that was because of Trouble in Tahiti that he didn't see it, but Helen Coates saw. And she was off the moon with, if I do say so, I'm sorry, but it was a really, really good production. And she said, Michael Bennett is going to call you this morning from the night before, and he wants to hire you to conduct. So,
and bam! Oh, your microphone dropped again. Oh, you can just hold it, yeah. What the heck?
But careers are crazy. You got to be there in the right time and the right
place, exactly.
Yeah,
so we want to remind everybody when they can see this and when can they get tickets. Where can they get tickets?
Okay, so this concert will take place on Sunday, October 21st, right here at Proctor's on the main stage.
You're going to fill the house.
It's at 3 p.m.
There it is. There's
you can get tickets at Proctor's box office. You can get them online by phone or in person at the box office. We are expecting a big crowd. We usually do on the first concert, so we're encouraging people to buy their tickets ahead of time if possible. Yes, we are expecting a big crowd. It's going to be a wonderful celebration. And,
but that's only the first of your season.
The first of the season. Our theme this year is a season of love. And you'll notice that in all 4 of the concerts, there's something about Romeo and Juliet. So obviously the first concert is West Side Story, which is basically Romeo and Juliet. On January the 20th, 2019, we'll have special guests, the children musicians from Chime, and we'll be doing the Tchaikovsky Romeo and Juliet. On Sunday, March 24th in the GE Theater, we'll actually be playing Nina Rota's version of Romeo and Juliet, better known as A Time for Us.
So A Season for Love.
Yep.
If you want to get your season tickets for A Season of Love, contact go to their website, I guess is the best way to do it.
You can get information on the website. It's schenectadysymphony.org, or obviously all the information is also online at Proctor's.
Good. Great. And we'll be hearing more from Chuck. He's going to be coming on the show in November, and we'll be chatting more with him again about his life.
Thank you, Anne.
Good. Stay tuned. And now we're going to hear about an author who's written a book, The Blacksmith, and I'm so anxious to hear about this. Stay tuned.
Hey, we're about to find out.
It's a baby mink.
A baby mink.
Baby mink smell horrible. They have a defense mechanism, a lot like a skunk.
Yeah.
Where they spray this scent, and you can smell that. It smells very musky. That is a baby mink.
Okay.
He was actually nursing off of his dead mother alongside of the road.
Oh my.
Who had been hit by a car.
My goodness. Looking outside from the barn, look at those beautiful structures.
That's one of our bobcat cages.
Ah.
We have 6 bobcats here. We won't put more than 2 bobcats in a corn crib. Those were old corn cribs that I disassembled and moved here. We try to keep all of our wild.
I have an author with me today, and I love authors because they have so much inside them that they bring out and put on paper, and that's tough to do.
It is. It is.
Is this your first book?
This is my first book, which I'm going to make a gift to you.
It's called The Blacksmith.
The Blacksmith.
And yes, I love that.
See that?
Well, you know, the blacksmith has to have a strong arm, right?
Yes, they
boom,
do.
Boom. So tell me how where did you get the idea?
Well, actually, about 13 years ago, I took up blacksmithing. It always fascinated me, and I started doing it. The more I did it, I turned it into a pretty successful little business.
So you do like horseshoes and things like that?
No, a farrier is a specialized blacksmith.
Okay, tell me about it.
Basically, what I do is ornamental iron for like gates or
that is specialized.
figurines or...
You're an artist.
Yes.
You're an artist. He's an artist.
Always makes me laugh when people tell me.
But you're an artist. Come on, admit it.
Well, all right. I'm an artist. But so I always read Western novels. I liked it. And,
Louis L'Amour?
Yeah, that type of thing.
Yeah,
William Johnstone, and I enjoyed them. And it always tickled me when there was a blacksmith in the story. So the more I read them, the more I said, you know, I could write one of these, and I'll make the blacksmith the hero. So that's what I did, you know, and it was actually a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
How long did it take you to write this? Because I've written some short stories, and you know it's not easy to write.
No, it took me about 3-4 months. Actually, what happened?
4 months. I figured more than that.
No, what happened was
you were on a roll.
I had hand surgery.
Oh.
I worked a long time for a telephone company, and the blacksmithing, I wore out my hands basically. So I had the right one done first and then the left one, but in that time I was driving my wife absolutely crazy because I couldn't do anything. So she said, why don't you go write that book you were talking about? So,
especially since both your hands were
well, it was kind of fun typing like this and then like this, but no, No, so I sat down and I wrote it, and the more I wrote it, the more I got into it.
And that character spoke to you, I'll bet.
Oh, yes, definitely. Blake Thornton, the lead character, is the man we all want to be. He's a heck of a guy.
Yeah.
And, there's a whole cast in there, and mostly are based off people I know. I know a lot of characters in my life, so
you incorporated them in your book?
Yeah, I kind of...
Will they recognize themselves?
Well, some more than others, but yeah, some won't admit it. But yeah, they're loosely based on people I know, and it was just...
I'm looking forward to reading this.
It was an awful lot of fun.
Is it really a mystery, or is it a...
No, it's your...
It's just a story.
It's a fictional now. It's basically your basic Western platform. Guy comes in, there's trouble, good guys, bad guys, bank robbery, shootouts.
A little of everything.
Oh, you got it all. You run the gamut with it. So
like a country Western song. Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. There's even a dog in it. Yeah, absolutely. No pickup trucks, but a little
or
before
a gun rack in the back.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But no, it was... it's a lot of fun. I tried to keep it, justice and Western justice and things like that.
And what time period is it? Well, people laugh, but they talk about the West, the Old West, but that was only like about 20 years.
Right.
Was the Old West.
This was post-Civil War, a few years after the Civil War, and yeah, the country was just. I mean, a lot of the states weren't even formed yet, so. Law was pretty much that.
Railroad was coming through, yeah. So those rustlers and the sheep and the cattle.
See, you got it. Oh, you got it. And yeah, so no Indians in this one. Now, I have been asked to write a sequel to it. I've
getting the Native Americans in there?
I do want to get the Native Americans in there, and it's funny.
Make them the heroes this time.
No, the blacksmith is always going to be the hero, but the Indians are going to help, believe it or not. It's funny, when my wife and I are cleaning horse stalls, that's when most of the plot development takes off in the morning.
Too much.
What do you think, hon? I don't like it. Okay, well, something else. So
yeah,
but
somebody has to do that.
Well, the horses appreciate it.
Yeah.
But
after a while.
No, we have a lot of fun. My wife is the rock on which I stand. I mean, she's so supportive of me and everything I do, and she'll tell me when I'm going a tad awry. I always have to run the plot by her, and she'll go, "No, I don't think so." So. No.
I'm just going to take a minute to say what's coming up next week, and then we're going to ask about your plot and where you can get this book. So just a minute, just a second. Next week we're doing a special, and it was a show that was aired on October the 3rd of last year, and it was called Schenectady Tomorrow. The first half of the show is the economic engines, business and nonprofits working together. Panel members are from the CEO of Capital District Transportation, the president of Sequence Development, the executive director of Metroplex, the owner of Legier Properties, and the assistant director of the downtown improvement. And then the second half is going to be how the fueling the arts, the engines with arts, entertainment, and tourism. We will be having the owner of Parecas. We'll be talking about the Daily Gazette, the MySci, Habitat for Humanity, and the Historical Society. And historical, hey, we're talking his history,
there you
right?
go, see?
So where can they get your book? Because this looks like it's going to be a good summer, well, it can't be summer reading, good fall reading.
No, it's a good snuggle up by the fire, yeah.
Right,
no, you can get it on Amazon.
Okay.
I personally have copies of it. You can contact me through the website.
Good.
2 bookstores offer it. One's in Stuyvesant Plaza, one's in Troy.
Okay.
Very soon it's going to be on ebooks.
Okay,
so
good.
we're looking
they can carry
forward
it on their
to
Kindle
that.
there. And,
right, right. That seems to be.
So what's your next book now? This is going to be another blacksmith.
Oh, the blacksmith.
So you're going to do a whole series with Blake. What's his name? Blake
Thornton. I don't know if it's going to be a series, but the next blacksmith, hopefully, Blacksmith Vengeance Trail.
Okay.
Oh, come on now. That makes you want to read it right there.
Vengeance Trail, yeah. Well, this is just plain old blacksmith.
This is the...
So this is going to be a Mad Max series?
It could be. soon as Hollywood picks it up, you know anybody is.
You never know.
You
just
never
know who's going to do that.
So.
But listen, pick it up because you know we got to support our local authors. But this looks like a really great book, and it says he was a man forged by fire and with a will of iron.
Yes.
And you are a forger.
I am a blacksmith.
You're not a forger as
I'm
far
not
as money.
No, you should have seen me opening that bank account.
With forgery.
Yeah, exactly. All right, pal, get out of here. So it's,
No, I love it. So we'll check it out and enjoy reading. Just read, and pick up a book. Forget all the other stuff. I love to hold a book.
Yes, I had a
I love
Kindle.
to hold a book,
It's
and I
just
put
not
a
the
bookmark
same.
in, and
Yeah.
usually a card that somebody sent me that I can always think about. So anyway, watch the show next week. I got a great show coming up, and then we'll see you again on this set the following week. So anyways, enjoy your fall, and thanks so much for being on the show.
Very much.